the child's getting produced.
Why are you getting so worked up?
I'm getting so
Why
worked
you
up
getting so
because
worked up?
I'm getting
Don't
so
yell
worked
at
up
me.
because every time I say
Do
something.
not yell at me, sir.
Okay,
I have
okay,
a
I'm sorry.
Why can't, and I know what the problem is. So many single moms, they never sit down with their daughters and explain to them the mistakes they made, the terrible decisions that they made in men, and how you should do something different. It has something to do with this jealousy, envy thing that some moms have for their daughters as they grow older and more beautiful. But if a single dad like me with no experience raising a girl, no experience braiding a girl's hair, I mean, I didn't know anything. If I can raise a young woman that looks like that, why can't you? Why can't you? Why are your daughters out here causing so much chaos? If a woman could answer that for me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Well, maybe a woman can't answer that for you, but maybe I'll try to.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. I guess this is going to be my closing statement, too. We got to stop asking questions in the second quarter. We got to ask the questions in the first quarter. Why are so many men sleeping with women they know are not qualified or fit to be a mother, and then doing it raw style or whatever happened between you and that sheets in the bedroom?
It's not so many men, OG.
Okay. No,
OG, it's not so many men.
Okay, well, can I finish? Can I finish?
But I have to correct you. It's not.
No, you can correct me after I finish, sir. This is my closing statement.
It's not so many men.
Okay.
Well, you can address what I'm saying now.
Okay, I'm not going to address what you're saying. I'm going to completely do exactly what I intend to do. Because I hear these arguments and I hear these talking points, and this is what it's called pre-maintenance in anything. Anything in life, you have what you call pre-maintenance. That's from going to the doctor to everything else. Why is it so hard to understand this from the beginning? That we should vet and make sure who we are sleeping with, and especially if you want to feel that raw dog, you better make sure exactly that the dog you are sleeping with, that it could be a person who could raise decent pups. If you are with a woman and she's acting like a aggressive person and she's not good quality woman, then that's the last person you want to impregnate. And so I would like to ask these questions before halftime or second quarter get, and I understand the numbers.
You took us back to the preseason. We was already
the reason why I want to do this, Bernard, because there are some young men who's listening to this, and then they always want to start the game in halftime, and I don't want that. I want that to stop.
You're right. There are some. I mean,
I didn't say all. I'd say there are some.
No. I mean, they talked about that at the beginning of the show and broke down the data. How the ones who are out there on that goofy shit is not the majority, and if a damn sure is not the men that me and Lil Big Nate speak for, and
I understand that, but I'm just saying. I wasn't privy to that part of y'all conversation, and I think if I'm gonna make any points, I'm making points from my experience and the things I see, and I want no young man who's starting his life at 18 years old to go out there and make these pitfalls when they don't have to. Number one, there are certain women that you just go lay with, you just go kick it with, but you got to understand that's a difference between a woman that you want to bring a child who's not actually coming in this world. That's what I want to mark.
But all of that is.
But can I finish, TP? TP. I know y'all want to go down this line. I want to stop from going down this line because I'm pretty sure that y'all go echo some other things. I just wanted to hear the other side of the story too.
It's not the other side. That's the side of the story. That's not the other side. That's the side we address.
I understand, but this is my closing statement, Bernard, because I have the right to make my Martin Luther King speech. My closing statement without being interrupted, please. Can I do that?
Well, if you throw out something that don't purport with the data,
I know, but y'all can always retort after I finish. But I'm not saying anything you actually don't see in life. What I'm trying to say is, there's too many of us. There's a lot of guys. When I say a lot of guys, I don't mean a greater number, but there are a lot of guys who lean towards trying to make everybody else. And then that, if you really want to call it a victim Olympics, you can have victim Olympics in everything. And so what I'm trying to do is keep these guys from going and saying they can use that as an excuse, because we go all make mistakes. None of us go be perfect. I understand that. But put yourself in a position to succeed in life, whatever you do. And that's from child to manhood to everything else. That's all I'm trying to bring to the table, to balance out the table. I'm not accusing anybody who listens to your show.
You are accusing if you're saying balance out the table, and that's the table that we're at. Somebody came in here and listen. Somebody came in here and super chatted. All this stuff y'all talking, I ain't doing all this stuff. I got to go through all that. I'd rather just be a deadbeat. And he said, #proud deadbeat. I read that shit and I just deleted his super chat. And I don't even care if it was $100. I would just deleted that shit. People like that, I don't rock with. It's some dudes that be lurking around these chat rooms who done outed themselves as some serial impregnators, causing all the problems that they complaining about. Them dudes don't get no run over here.
No.
So it's like, I'm just trying to balance out the other side. Like that side that you're talking about is the side that we're already against.
But I understand that, but you act as if everybody think like y'all, man. You act like everybody who knows what y'all know. And that's the problem is there's some people who's in the middle of the road who really don't know one way or the other. They're not bad people. They just make bad decisions. That's what I'm trying to get to. And every time I bring these things up, y'all get a little upset. Y'all got to be able to speak to everything that's happening in our community.
Not just said that thing. We did. I
know, but you act as if there's not some people out there who have not really made up their mind which way they wanted to go. And what I'm trying to do is give them some motivation versus criticism. I'm trying to give a little constructive criticism at its best. That's all I'm trying to do. And y'all, every time a man speak like I'm doing, y'all always think he's putting on the cape. And this is what keep these conversations going back and forth with each other, where they're fighting against each other versus understanding and moving forward.
Well, the mere fact that you decided to say what you said after Little Big Nate made the point that he made, it did come off. I'm just telling you how it came off. It came off as you basically, after Little Big Nate made a really good ironclad point, asked a really good rhetorical question, the type of rhetorical question that really should be the last statement that need to be made. You did come through with some, it did seem like you was on some, no. The problem is that y'all just can't control your dick. Like that's what it came off as.
Well, that's what it came off as. If we that narrow-minded, and every time somebody come up with a statement that pretty much is a piggyback to what he was saying. He was saying the halftime, and I was saying the beginning of the time. It really endorses what he was saying. But if you only listen to it for being criticism, it's going to sound like that. But I am reinforcing what he's saying in the halftime. I'm just doing preventing in the first beginning. And that's this is where we get off track sometimes. We always think somebody's against us.
This is the big problem.
Yeah, but it's a little late to tell brothers to keep their peck in their pants when they already.
Well, I'm not saying to keep your peck in your pants. I'm saying when you do take it out and you shoot your gun, make sure you're shooting it at the right person.
We have a small group of black men causing the problem and a much larger group of black women. That's the problem at the end of the day. It is a small group of black men out here making so many of these illegitimate children, and it is a fairly large group of black women. That's how come you get baby mama number 20s, baby mama number 10s. These women have got to be called out for their behavior. We don't have control over the men or the women, but the men have been being called out for over 30 years. That's why it's such a small group of men now guilty of this shit. And such a large group of women, because no one has called out female behavior.
Please,
our hearts bleed. We don't want to offend women.
Hey, people. Hey, look, Nate. In 1980, I was the first man to stand in front of a fucking courtroom holding a damn sign.
Congratulations.
My high on. Okay, so don't act as if this just started to be a problem and men haven't been speaking about this problem for a long period of time. How in the hell you think I got so eloquent when it came down to how to fight this shit? So don't sit up there and try to preach to me about there's a small group of men, because if you still got 87% of single motherhood, I don't give a damn if it is small group. Look at the childs they producing.
Why are you getting so worked up?
I'm getting so
Why
worked
you
up
getting
because
so worked up?
I'm getting
Don't
so worked
yell
up
at
because
me.
every time I say
Do
something.
not yell at me, sir.
Okay,
I
okay, I apologize. Oh, okay, I apologize.
All right, everybody. All right, let's bring it down. Bring it down.
I apologize.
Right.
What I'm trying to say, Nate, every time somebody speak on something different than you speaking on, you shouldn't get offended by it.
I didn't get offended, so I sat here and I listened
I'm just saying. But this whole conversation for the last 5 minutes has been somebody being offended by what I said on the other side. Like,
I'm not offended by it. It doesn't deal with the problem.
Okay,
it was inaccurate.
It does deal with the problem, and now I disagree with you.
You have to address.
Okay, in the end of the day,
address this large group of
in the end of the day, Nate,
females.
we have 80%. Regardless of at the end of the day, Nate, we still got 80% of women who are single mothers who are producing childs at a great number, as you say. So these people, regardless of if it's just bow-legged Willie who's slanging his stuff all through the neighborhood, you're still producing children who's gonna carry this same mindset. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to catch these type of children before they get out there and get entangled in this mess that we're talking about today.
Well, again, the emphasis for the last.
No, you're trying to catch bow-legged Willie. That's who you're trying to catch.
Well, you know, bow-legged Willie is easy to pick out, Bernard. I mean, he's you know who's a stud in the community. He's easy to pick out.
I think our position is we can't control bow-legged Willie.
But I understand, but he has already did the damage.
All right. Go ahead, little Nick.
You tried for 30 years to address the issue by calling out men. It's time to deal with this issue by telling women. We've got the number down to this small group of black men causing all these problems.
Break down the data. Break down that data.
Again, if 51% of black men are single and childless and 32% of black men are married, that's damn near 83% of black men not causing these problems. That's by anybody's standard,
number, sir.
Overwhelming majority.
That's a skewed number, sir. You're trying to take the math and do tricky science with your math. I guarantee
Bernard,
you are
help me understand what tricky science.
You are doing tricky science with your math. I'm a prove
tricky
to you
science.
Because yes, you are. You're in tricky science. But what you're trying to take a whole and put everything with the whole and come out with your numbers. That's not true.
No, sir.
I'm break it down for you.
Hold on, wait. Everybody, go ahead and break it down, OG. I want to hear this.
If he says that his top number was what? There's
51% of black men are single and
men are not married. Let's just stop right there. Mm-hmm. So that leaves 49% of black men who are not married. That's 49%, right?
No, that's 51% plus the number.
I said it has to be 49.
32% of black men are married.
Okay, 32% is married.
Of black men are married.
Right.
When you add that to the 51% of black men that are single and childless, you get 83%. Tell me the tricky math.
Okay, the tricky is that just because a person is married don't mean they have to have children. That's where you come in with your 51%. So
if they're married without children, hold on,
then the number's even greater.
You can't have double numbers. It's like playing double.
It's even more black men that are guilty of the crime.
Okay, listen what I'm saying, Bernard.
If they're married without children, then they're not a part of the problem. If they're married with children, they're not a part of the problem. He just proved that 83% of black men are not a part of that problem that you're talking about.
Out of 51. Take 30% out of 51. What you got left?
Why are we doing that?
Because you're going to have to add that into your whole number. If they don't have children,
single and
you're going to have to add them on to the people who
not
do
married.
Have children. Say what?
Wait, let me hear this question.
Childless means they're not married.
Okay, again. He said he had a number 51% who was not married, right?
Single and childless.
Single and childless.
And childless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had 31%, right?
32% are married.
are married.
Yes.
And not all the people who are married have children.
Okay.
That doesn't help or hurt Little Big Nate's
No,
argument.
well, what I'm just saying, you still have to have that in the whole number. Because when he comes up with that small percentage, that's how he's coming up with the small percentage. Due to the point, he's not using partially of the math that he get from the 31% and the 51%.
I don't even know what 31% you're talking about.
32.
I've said 10 times 32% of black men.
32% then. Okay, one number off. Okay. So when you do understand, I'm gonna bring that when you next time you have a show on this, Bernard, I'm gonna show you how that's weird science. I'm gonna show you how you come up with that small number. Because let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. As I know, as I was growing up, I didn't hang around with a bunch of fucking virgins. That's number one. And it's probably one guy out of the 10 guys that I hung around coming up in my life, and I see it in other people's life, that was not having sex. We didn't roll with them type of people.
I didn't get no pussy. Hold on. I didn't get no pussy until like
right
before. Hold on. Right before my senior year in high school. It's the summer of going to my senior year in high school. That's when I finally got some. But everybody thought I was fucking.
All right,
all I'm saying is you don't know. All I'm
saying, I came up in a different era when everybody knows somebody when somebody was getting some.
I was faking it until I had to fake it till I make it.
well, Bernard, you had that street clout, so the people would believe you. But let me tell you something.
All I'm saying is your 9 out of 10 was probably 6. Your 9 out of 10, guys. Your 9 out of 10 was probably 6 out of 10. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Of them,
well,
there probably was a couple liars among you.
We're still in 6. We're still in 60%. Okay. All right. Okay. And I've been hearing this. Weird numbers, and I'm not saying the numbers are not statistic, but what the problem is just like when you get your income tax check. You can sit up there and talk about how much taxes you pay and how high it is, and only certain percentage of the people there. But you got to have a whole number you start with, and you got to be able to subtract what you are trying to get to the absolute at the end, and you can't do that by playing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you don't. I'm about to break it down.
I said 51%, and that number has been paraded around the manosphere for months now, probably years.
Yeah.
51% and look at single and childless. 32% are married.
Hey, look at how BGS had to come back, and some of the numbers he's been parading around for the last 13 or 14 years. He had to come back and make an apology for it. So I'm telling you, we gonna have to stop listening to the preacher trying to put the scripture in your fucking head and learn how to read the scripture for yourself.
But you can't explain it in a way any of us can understand.
Okay, and little Nate, I apologize to you for hollering at you, but you holler at every damn body.
No, I don't. That's a lie. I respect every time I come on another brother's
You holler at every damn body.
Well, basically, what OG is saying is women aren't as big of a problem as we've been saying.
He's here to make sure
y'all want them arguments.
These ladies are never held to account.
This is why this stuff never get better, because y'all starting to sound like the women's.
I've actually created the kind of woman 95% of these men would want to be with.
Yeah.
Okay,
y'all started to sound like the women in 1980.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
It's
creating a woman.
because of YouTube.
Okay,
that things aren't getting better.
I know. I've shown 2 brilliant, dynamic, talented children, but I don't.
It was he who.
Beta.
So you can't show you 5.
You're wrong, OG. You're just wrong.
I can't show you 5.
Bro,
I can show you 5.
I haven't seen anything. Show me.
Okay. Well, you want to see it? Okay, I'll show it to you. All right, but now
I show my work. Manosphere meetup. I've shown my house. I am a productive man that has actually lived what he's talked about.
Nate,
I've lived what I've talked about.
All right, go ahead.
Nate, you ain't the only one been on the internet showed your house, bro.
It's not just the house. It's not just the house.
You ain't been on the only one talk about it.
Not just the house.
How good.
From behind an avatar, I put together the man.
None of my children is perfect.
I'm not the guy you should be up for the challenge.
I got a 22-year-old daughter who was never dated, sir. And I've made that clear when I came over the internet, sir. And so she's raised by a Muslim woman, sir. She was raised by a father who was a Muslim, sir, till she was 12 years old. So don't try to give me like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That's your experience.
You said I'm guilty
and
of
this is my
math,
experience.
and you didn't.
But you don't have to come.
You haven't challenged anything I said.
Different from yours.
All
Just listen to my story as I listen to yours. Why is it always we got to be?
Why do you come up here to throw a monkey wrench in everything?
I ain't throwing no monkey. You just feel that way. You in
just
your
to protect
sir?
Women.
Are you in your
women
emotions,
need to be
sir?
called out on their behavior.
Are you in your emotions, sir?
I'm not in my emotions. It's just, this always happens. The black community is filled with black men who come to the rescue.
Why is it we just get to tell your story and I can't tell mine?
I'm the guest. I'm the guest, you lunatic. I'm the guest.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. I just had to mute you, OG. Okay. I had to muted you, little big Nate. We about to just do a slow walk away. I think this was a good show. A lot of good information put out there, and this was the show. I'm gonna unmute you, OG. This was a show where everybody, including a lot of people in the chat room, was agreeing with OG, but he just couldn't let that ride. He just
now you see, but no, this is how the bullshit started. This is how the bullshit started.
Wait a minute.
What you're doing right now is because when I say something that make people feet twinkles and make them happy, it's all right. But as soon as I say something to have anything for men to be accountable for what they do, y'all don't like it. You never have liked
bullshit.
Not you personally, but a lot of your guests don't like it. A lot of your guests do not like
this whole show.
They want this goddamn fight between men and women. They want this fight.
Hold on. This whole show, we were talking about, were we not talking about what men need to do in the situation? Even if it's at a disadvantage, this is how you got to fight that fight. So we were talking about men taking responsibility. We talk about male accountability all the time. All right. We ain't got a problem with that.
Do the number on it.
What?
Do the percentage on the time you spend about. See, this a spear is supposed to be to make men better.
No, you can't come. Hold on.
This spear is supposed to be because to make men better. You don't have to make men better by shitting on women. That's the problem I have. You just make men better. Women go do what they go do. And that's been y'all major fucking problem, is you're always trying to put the blame on women, like old people used to try to put the blame on white people all the time, that Nate talk about all the time. This Olympic, victim Olympics. But y'all have started to do it with women. The same way we did it with
just
white
try
people.
to we don't hold on. We don't just try to put the blame on women for the subjects. What the hell is that? For the subjects that we talk about, to the degree that it's the woman's fault, we will talk about that. And those things go untalked about. And when men don't talk about those things, you end up with situations like what's in the news right now. What's in the news right now, where a woman who's a goddamn monster was able to charge a man up with abusing her and go speak at a Me Too rally about how she a victim and turn out she's the victim. Those narratives change because men speak up. And when men speak up, you can't always come in here and say, well, what about the thing? What about this? What about that? Fuck all that. No, we're going to speak up for men. Okay?
I understand it, but
that's what we're going to do here. And that ain't going nowhere.
When I'm speaking of, look, if I make
and then when we do that, when you come in on your white, okay, I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna keep it cool. When we do that, we can't have men trying to. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you slice it. You're protecting them from criticism.
No, I'm not. I'm protecting the human race, and that's what y'all have not understand. Because if you disenfranchise, listen to what I'm saying. If you disenfranchise the other part, you're doing the same thing that women did in the 70s and the 80s and the 2000s. And then what you're going to end up with? Nothing but fucking war. What you want to do is have a better outcome than what they had when they was out there bitching and moaning for the last 30 and 40 years. Listen to what I'm just saying. if we duplicate what they did in the end of the game, there's still gonna be a war on their side. What I'm trying to do is bring us back to some kind of humanity where we can understand each other a lot better, and so we can move forward.
When
You
one
you
side,
can't have a one-sided conversation all the time and expect just because. Look, tough love is a goddamn thing that nobody wants to hear.
When you're
That's why
talking
you call
about
it tough love.
when you're talking about ever since the 80s and 90s when they saying all of that stuff,
Yes,
so
sir.
they piled up a mountain of shit on black men. Black men has put together what amounts to a fucking anthill, and you're saying, wait, we need balance or nothing ever's gonna work out. No, no, that ain't how it's gonna go.
That's what y'all hear.
That ain't how it's gonna go.
That's the reality of what's happening.
No, that ain't the reality of my speak. That's what y'all hear. You can't tell me what my intent is, little Nate.
Nobody said what your intent is. I said that's the reality of what's happening.
About. What are you talking about if you ain't talking about my intent when you try to tell me what I'm saying?
I said that's the reality of what's happening.
It might be the reality of what's happening. I would like men to do a better job in it and straighten it out.
Black men are doing a very good job in this country now.
No, I would like men to be, since we are leaders and protectors and providers, I would like for us to approach the situation a lot different than they did and get better outcomes.
You cannot lead, protect, or provide for a group of women. I'm not talking about all black women. I'm talking about the black women committed to leftist and feminist ideology, telling, how do you protect and provide and lead a woman who says, I will never listen to a man? Tell me, because that's what I hear from thousands of black women all over social media. I will never listen to a man. They equate control, any modicum of control a man has over them, with abuse.
Well, maybe you should take your ass outside and listen to the real world versus these goddamn moving hollow, slobbing over the mic women.
I'm gonna let you.
I'm just telling you, women.
I don't need your direction. I don't.
See, that's
you do whatever you want to do.
You think you know what, a little bit, Nate? You think you are too good for approach. That's your fucking problem.
No. I've actually lived what I say I've lived.
No, you think
that's what I
can learn from a baby. I can learn from young people. I can learn from a woman.
I do learn from people.
I can learn from a lot of people. But when I hear a man say, I don't need your direction, you have
I don't know. You specifically, I don't need your direction.
Your mind that you can't hear from.
I've done pretty well for myself in life.
That's good.
Pretty well for myself.
Perfect.
No one suggested I was. No one said I was. It's time that black men have the ability to speak their minds.
Have you ever been around some women who said, I do love men, I do want to be submit to men, I do know men?
Yeah, I know a couple of women.
Of course.
Have you met them type of women's brothers?
I know a couple of women like that, yeah. I know a couple. But then I can go to the internet and see thousands and thousands of women saying the exact opposite. So those couple of women are not in any way, shape, or form negating the fact that the majority of these women are adversaries to men.
When we know the internet
want to be adversarial.
Internet is like ambulance chasing. Everybody comes up with some bullshit to say to get people all stirred up. Don't mean that have to be their real feeling. They just might be trying to put your ass on edge.
These women are all over every media platform.
Type of women.
These women are all over every media platform saying that they're not going to listen to men.
I can spot them out like I do a bad
Yet while simultaneously wanting these men to protect them. That's insanity. That's insanity.
Again.
They want these men to give their lives over for them,
that don't won't listen to you in the first place.
They want these men to give their lives, their resources, their work, their labor over to them, but they won't listen to them.
Let me tell you something.
My sacrifice has a price.
Yes, sir.
My sacrifice has a price.
Let me tell you something.
And it's obesity.
There's a famous comedian. And Lil Nate, there's a famous comedian who used to go on stage. And I used to cuss out about it. She said, every man I meet always can't wipe his ass. He always have these streaks in his underwear. And I used to ask her the question, what is it about your pussy that you attract men who don't know how to wipe their ass properly? And what I'm trying to say is, the kind of people that you're talking about, It's not that if I don't know they out there, but it's just like any other low lives in life. I don't hang with them. And what they eat don't make me shit. I keep moving. And I don't sit around and complain about people who I'm not going to bring in my life in the first place.
Now we're complaining. Gotcha.
Okay, then why did you address the men who out there reckless with their semen, putting it in any kind of woman? That guy don't eat. That guy eat don't make you shit. You should just leave him alone. You shouldn't criticize him by that same logic. You shouldn't criticize that reckless serial impregnator.
Now you can't have it both ways, Bernard. We're having
no, you trying to have it both ways.
No. We are having shows. This is what I'm saying. We're having shows where elders or older men who are wiser supposed to be trying to talk to younger men or men who just didn't never learn in their life. It has nothing to do with what you just said. We're trying to do what we call prevent maintenance. What do y'all have against prevent maintenance? What do y'all really have against it?
Nothing.
It's obviously y'all do, because every time that somebody comes on this channel.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. It wasn't that you just said, oh, and also you didn't. I would have to rewind it. I had to rewind the tape. I don't recall ever
debate me in any goddamn thing.
Hold on. That would be a great debate.
You can call that anytime you want.
Hours of power. Debates.
Hold on. We don't.
You better stay in your lane, bro. You better stay in your fucking lane.
I want this fight.
There's a lot of guys that's smarter than me, Nate. There's a lot of guys more educated than me, but they can't outthink me.
You came up here with all this vitriol.
Yeah, right. I will mop your ass all over this country. You try to debate
because you don't like women being criticized.
I will mop your ass all over
this
country.
All right. I gotta do some.
Tonight's open.
We don't have a problem with preventative measures. The problem is when we narrow down the problem, when we break it down to the molecule, when we get the data right, we get the facts right, and we know that we are right. When somebody try to come in and say something along the lines of, no, the problem is that we got all these men out here just recklessly shooting their seed up in any old woman, and when we just broke down the data to where we know that that's not true. Everybody thought that was true for years. But we've unearthed that, no, that's actually not true. We proved it through and through that it's a smaller percentage of men, of black men, who are out here reckless like that. So when you come in and you do that after we just basically proved something, yeah, we get a little agitated. But if you were to, but hold on. But if you were to say, and for that small percentage of men, if you were to say this, for that small percentage of men who are out there being reckless with their seed, y'all are a big part of the problem. Y'all need to be preventative because y'all be some of the ones making a lot of these complaints about women and the stuff that they do, but you have no regard for the women that you choose. If you would have talked about it from the perspective of this percentage of men that we broke down, that exists, that actually do that, we would have no problem with it. But you made that statement, whether you admit it or not. Okay, I'm not even going to charge you up. It sounds like you made that statement to counter the overall point and message that Lil Big Nate laid out at the end. And in your statement was not a proper, adequate counter to what he was saying.
No, it was supporting it was supporting what he's saying. He just got whatever reason. Then when somebody look, you, Lil Big Nate, a prophet of thought, nobody when it comes in ever talked about. When you're talking about a problem, it's all. You have to explain that. Everybody with a little common sense, with a little goddamn common sense, know you ain't talking about all. But
you thought it was bigger than what it was. You thought it was bigger than.
You think
it's bigger?
No.
You think it's bigger than what it was?
All these men. He said all these men. I said it's not all these men.
You think it's bigger than what it was?
Let me ask you, what percentage is that, Nate? What percentage is that?
I just told you. According to the numbers, it's between.
I want a small percentage.
It's between 17 and 20% of men making all these illegitimate children.
How many women out of 17 to 20%, Nate? How many people out of 40, close, maybe some people say we close to 50 million. Out of 17% of the numbers that you have, the 32% and 51% is not married. How many numbers, hard numbers, how many men would that be? Of the 17 or 21% you're talking about, how many men that would be?
First, I can't give you the exact number, but the
Hell, why
percentage,
not?
because I don't have the numbers from relationship age men, child creating age men versus adolescent black boys. I don't have that
Would
number.
you think that would be important if you trying to?
No, because we're talking about the
okay.
percentage
well,
of men
no.
responsible for this problem.
Wait a minute.
I don't need to have a
why
hard
is it
number.
important on one side, but not important on the other
17%
side?
can represent 1 million. 17% can represent 200 million.
That's why I say you got to have the
still
numbers.
a smaller number than the men that are not causing the problem.
Let's just say, Bernard.